Podcast.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Turn Left Podcast, episode 70. Very special guest today, all the way from California, Thickness in the Shine host, Jon Brush.
Hey.
Thanks for joining me, buddy. I really appreciate it, and I thank you again for having me on your Thickness in the Shine podcast a couple months ago. I guess it's been a little while. I'm losing track.
It has been a while now, dude. And yeah, it's great to be on. I was excited for this, and we had a really fun time when you came on our show, and yeah, I've been looking forward to finally getting to be a part of yours.
I appreciate it, buddy. And but yeah, yours is a comedy podcast. So if any of the listeners are wondering and aren't caught up completely on that episode, it's a comedy podcast. Like I said, you're based in California. You've been doing it a long time. You had a partner in crime, Mike. Obviously, you've just tell me a little bit about it. Things are changing a little bit for you, and tell me what the future holds.
Yeah, so Mike was my co-host. We did about 188 episodes together of Thickness in the Shine. I think we did another 30 of an AM radio show that we had called The Hangover Crew.
Oh, wow.
And that was awful, dude. It was 8 a.m, Sunday mornings, fucking AM radio out of some dude's shit. It was like this guy who, like, he just, like, I don't know, we told him about the podcast and he just, like, believed in this on, like, such a crazy level. He would say shit like, I could see you at the pool one day, dude, with like chains on and like all these women around you. And I'm just like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I just like telling dick jokes every now and then. I don't know why you're looking at me like Biggie.
Yeah.
But so we did a good 4 years of podcasting together, and we had a long, wild ride. But Mike he's just got to move on. You know, he's moving up in his career and he's doing big things now, and can't really be part of an offensive podcast if you want to try to get to the top of some shit.
Yeah.
Nowadays. And for me, it's just like, I don't care, man. Like, I have a different look at life. I think a big thing that made our show last so long, because we had an hour and a half episodes. We never had any, like, never had an awkward silence, never had to end one early, never had to pause it, never ran out of things to say. And a big part of that was just we're so opposite. You know, like he's like, I want to make a legacy out of money, and I want to make a legacy out of contributions of art. So, like, I just never cared about money in that way. So, like, I love him, and I'm really excited for him, and I believe in him. But unfortunately, the show's gonna have to go on without him.
Yeah, and I respect both aspects. I'm a little bit in that battle myself, just because I work a job to where that's some of the stuff I said, especially in the beginning, could potentially, I guess, it could really get me in trouble, but I said some crazy things in the beginning, before when I wanted mine to be a comedy podcast, and now it's just, switch gears. I use that now, pun intended, because of Scott Horton. But
I'll tell you what, in the beginning, when there was like, only like 5 or 6 people that we knew of that were listening, you're like, nobody's listening to this shit. You can say whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a couple of years, we checked the numbers and we've got thousands of listeners. And it's like, okay, maybe we need to back off a little bit. Like, you can't be saying certain things like if somebody's going to hear this now.
Yeah, no, but I do respect both sides of it, and I definitely, I think y'all had a good chemistry too. And back to the point of somebody saying you could be a good podcaster, I think it's true, because you do have the voice great for a podcast. You have the deep, sultry voice, so I think it's perfect for perfect radio. But and not only radio, video too. Here you are on video. Hopefully, all this will work.
Yes, sir.
But anyway,
also, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. And I do like your new backdrop too. Last time I saw you, it was obviously just recorded for audio purposes only. Now, obviously, you do have a nice backdrop, just in case we don't capture it or whatever. But
yeah. So usually,
tell me where you are and what situation you're working with now.
So we're in the same studio as we were in last time. It's just this is where I'm sitting at. Is Thomas, the producer, is like, this is his computer. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is his main area, and where we were is actually behind this backdrop. There's like a table where we sit when we record, and I still sit there.
Okay.
But if I'm just doing like a Zoom show, I come up to the computer and we just throw up like a pole with a big blanket. But I wanted to ask you something, because you said you were like stuck in the middle, and I feel like there was a lot behind that. Like, what do you mean you're stuck in the middle when it comes to like making money versus like making art, or doing what you want versus not doing what you want but doing what you feel like you should supposed to do?
I agree. I'm not necessarily stuck in the middle financially. I don't make, any money really off the podcast, but as far as like I was for a while stuck in the middle as far as how deep do I want to take this art form? Like I said,
Yeah,
when I started mine, I wanted it to be a comedy podcast and I was saying wild shit. Um I mean, we were talking crazy stuff and mentioned, I mean, I still get a little wild with it too, just out off of I can't help it.
you can get a little wild, you know. That's fine.
But yeah, exactly. But there is potential, like I said, that with my job, it's kind of similar to his. Um, that it could, they could look me up. But there's been controversies from employers in my past online saying way worse things than I would ever imagine saying. So I
Yeah,
kind of know that. Granted, one of them did get fired, but like I said, it was stuff that I couldn't even imagine. I would never even think. So I don't think that I'll ever have to worry about it. I think I overthink it a little bit, but
yeah,
y'all do talk about like some crazy shit. You know
yeah.
what I mean? We were talking pissed tomatoes and having Honduran little boys dance on your lap that were 10-year-old. We were talking
Oh
committing
yeah,
pedophilia when I was on your
yeah,
guest on your show. You know what I mean?
yeah. We
So yeah, we were going deep. You know what I
we
mean? And I was
we
there
have a
with
lot of
you.
fun.
No,
Yeah,
I was there with you. I'm totally all for it. I think it's hilarious. I loved it. Um,
yeah,
but in the sense of where I guess Mike is at, he's I guess thinking it's just that's the best way to do it. That's really one of the only ways to do it. That's like I said, maybe one of the other ways I'm stuck in the middle is I want to really full send, but I want to keep it clean enough for not my audience but my potential future or whatever.
yeah. And you got like kids, don't you, and stuff?
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
another thing too. But obviously, the goal is to eventually make enough money, make a career out of it. So if it all pays off, I don't care what happens. And then at that point, you know, as long as I guess I don't get canceled, I don't care about it. I don't have a job necessarily other than this to care about. But
yeah. My my
that's a
thing
different
is
day.
my thing is like ever since we were like little, and now this is reinforced a lot now that I'm older. But like when we were little kids, I used to remember thinking like this, like at recess, like this is bullshit, man. We're gonna be in school until we're like 24, and then we're gonna get another job that we don't like until we're like 50 or 60, and then finally when we don't have to do anything anymore, we're gonna be old as fuck, and we're not gonna like want to play kickball. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? And
yeah.
then maybe some fun trips with some hallucinogenics and a couple different books and some interesting lectures later, then I really started leaning into like, yeah, why the fuck would I want to be part of any of that shit if that's not what I want? Like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has their own journey, right? And I read this book called The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. And he kind of talks about how people, like, when you reach a certain age, you start to really understand what death is. And people tend to go two ways. You accept, you fall your place in line in society, and you get your little heroisms by like raising a family or paying your bills on time or having a good credit score and like having God. And then some people the other way, they'll realize that we're like on this spinning ball of death hurling through the fucking universe, and that nothing makes sense, and that all of this is just kind of like lucky and unexplainable, like from the big picture of like, like somehow the earth is sitting where it's at in the fucking universe to where we can have life, to the small picture of like you were that one sperm, right? And you were that one egg. So it's like it just hit me on such weird levels so young that I was like, I would never be part of that weird rat race because it's just not for me. I'm one of those people. So I would just rather like, I think I'd rather die of failure. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to go all in on comedy. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and you don't live to work; you work to live.
Exactly. And like Mike was the exact opposite. He was, like you got to put your time at the pedestal. You got to work hard. You got to make your money. If you make enough money, then you go do what you want to do.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
it
like,
pays off for certain if you're materialistic. Not that he is, but it pays off for certain goals that some people might have. But certain
yeah,
people's goals are different. That's why also too a lot of you notice like a lot of not third world countries, but there's a lot of countries where people aren't doing well that ultimately are a lot happier people.
yeah, they don't
That
know the difference.
well, yeah, maybe ignorance is bliss a little bit there too, but just in general, materialistic stuff, everybody knows once you have it, it doesn't do anything for you. Nobody actually that has a good sense of mind would ever think materialistic things would ever solve any problems, or would be even hardly worth even having. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, I could have probably a little bit more expensive things, but unless it matters, it doesn't, matter.
Yes, well, some people like it. You collect your toys and you get as many as you can before you go.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody has to justify their own life in their own way, and I'm here for it. Any way you want to do it, do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if
No,
you're
I
if
agree.
you're if your life goal is to have a bunch of fucking boats and a house or something, a mansion or something, it's like right on, bro. Cool, have a boat.
Yep.
Like if I can go on it, that'd be cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll take my shirt off, get drunk, and have a good time.
Yeah. A
But
lot of people.
I don't want to be cleaning the fucking boat, paying for the docking fees, and
Yeah.
fucking trying to figure out like if the storms come in, if I have to come like bring a truck and move it, and then where do you move it? You
Yeah.
bring it in your yard? That fucking sucks a lot of dick, especially if you have a big boat. You
I agree.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You better have a hell of a yard.
Yeah.
All right. So. All right.
Sorry, I'm
So.
stoned as shit, and I'm about to get more stoned. So
No, you're
sometimes I get philosophical.
no, you're good, buddy. Hell, they about. I think they're legalizing it here in Virginia in July or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, dude, hell
I
yeah,
don't
right
keep up
on.
with it too close, but yeah, I think
Are
they're
you
about to let it rip.
are you gonna get a little stoned when it's fully legal?
I don't know. I'm sure it'll be getting passed around, but I
What's
don't
it?
know. No, I mean
What's
probably not.
what's the weed like out in Virginia? West
I don't
Virginia?
know. No, I'm in
Are you-
Virginia.
Virginia, yeah, okay.
No, I don't
Well,
really
like,
know. I mean, I'm sure all my friends that do smoke, they usually get it from places like California somehow. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't really, it's probably the same stuff you're smoking, or at least somebody says it is. You know what I mean? It comes from somewhere, but a lot of people are like, yeah, this comes straight from California. So that's
yeah,
what I get a lot. Or Colorado.
oh, definitely Colorado for sure too. Damn, that's wild, dude. Cause like out here, it's like every fucking other person's got plants in their backyard and
Well, in
like
DC is pretty much wide open, I think, too.
nice.
So,
Are you not a pot guy?
no, and just because of my industry, a lot of drug tests and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, that's a
although
fucking
CBD is legal here, so but I don't mess with that either. But is that even
yeah.
worth it? I heard y'all talk about it on a podcast one time. Is it even worth messing with the CBD?
Yeah. We have a CBD sponsor. It's a shout out Black Tie CBD. They don't pay us anything, but it's just longtime friend of the show.
All right.
So
Well,
the thing with CBD is, especially if like you're not a pothead, it'll probably help you more. Because stoners, I don't know. The thing about being a stoner is it's like you're smoking weed and not getting high, so you don't know if you're getting the benefits or not because you're always fucking stoned.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, I would try like a little tincture. It could be good for a lot of things. Honestly, if you've got anything going on, type it in and then CBD, and I bet there's an article saying that fucking CBD is good for it
Oh yeah.
because it's everything without the high.
Mm-hmm.
It reduces anxiety and inflammation, and it's good at getting your body back to homeostasis, whatever the fuck that means, like
Yeah.
biodome.
Oh,
You know what
I
I'm
like
saying?
homos. I mean,
Yeah,
even in here in Virginia, we like homos, so I
I'm
like
pro
that.
homo. Yeah,
Yeah, pro
yeah,
homo.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So I asked you earlier, but so it's staying thickness in the shine, no rebrand on the name. You're going to be doing a lot of solo episodes. You said you just did your first one. It's going to be dropping when?
It's gonna drop Wednesday. When does your show come out? When does this come out?
I don't know. Like I said, this is the first one, so we're kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah.
Usually it's live, so I don't know.
All right.
I don't really know what's going on right now.
Let's see. Today's the 27th. Okay, so it's dropping tomorrow. So the 28th.
Mine probably come out like tonight or tomorrow too, but I don't know.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
it depends on how long we go.
Yeah. Thicknessintheshine.com. Thickness in the Shine on Instagram. Thick and Shiny on Twitter, but I don't fucking use it.
Y'all are on
Thickness in the Shine
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff.
everywhere. If it's got podcasts on it, it's got Thickness in the Shine on it. We
Bam,
did
bam.
actually just have to go through an overhaul and get rid of a huge selection of episodes because of Mike leaving the show. We couldn't leave around the remnants of some of the things that were said. So
Or else there'd be no point.
yeah, exactly. Like, well, at first we got his name off of it, but you can only go so far. Like, you got to try to get that shit off the internet at one point.
Yeah.
So we've got like a legacy episode where we kind of like highlights some of the crazy things. Like, we had Zima Cast, the Trapisode, Shroom Cast. I think one point Mike throws a bag of toenails and fingernails he'd been collecting for years at me. I dice rolled my wisdom teeth that I got pulled out on the table at him.
He peed in a bottle.
Peed in a bottle a few times. Like the first couple, like the first episode 20 through like 80, we were in my room in the backyard of my house, and fucking Mike would always piss in a bottle in the middle of the episode. So he was constantly peeing in bottles. Like he'd
Do
just
you
bring a
think at
little
some
Gatorade.
point he was saving it just for the episode?
I did. I fucking did. He always had to piss during the show. Like we even had a thing where like I would do rants occasionally
Not
whenever
save
I
the
was left
bottle.
alone.
Not save the bottle. He would save. He would not go pee on purpose. So
Yeah,
that
no,
he
yeah,
had-
yeah. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying. Yeah, like
okay.
we did these things where when he would go take a piss, I would do a rant about something, and I would just go off fucking kilter and start screaming about something, and then like he would take a piss, and it got to the point where he would go take a piss like every episode, and I was like, dude, like I'm coming up with these off the top of my head, and like
The
I'm
Tim
not this
Dillon rant.
mad at the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
man.
dude, I finally watched some Tim Dillon after you talked about him.
Oh my
He's
god.
funny.
Oh my
He's
god,
so
dude.
funny, dude.
He's my fucking favorite, dude. I can give you some episodes and some rants that are like just the rant is clipped out, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
There's some of them are so fucking funny.
Do you think he's actually gay? It's a conspiracy.
I've heard that it's a conspiracy. He's not. Joe Rogan called him out live. He said, "My wife doesn't think you're gay." Straight up on a podcast. I was like, "Oh my god!" But
Well, he had
yeah, I think he is.
He had his little run at Gas Digital, where he came through Gas Digital. Louis J. Gomez, his company with Ralph Sutton, and he had a show with them for a little while. Got really big and took off.
Yeah.
So every now and then you hear little utterances throughout the Gas Digital shows. Like when Tim Dillon's name comes up, one of them will snicker and make a small joke about him not being gay. And like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, he might not be gay because there's a chance that he's playing a card here, right? Because Tim Dillon wanted to be Chris Farley. He wanted to be the next funny fat guy. He thought, if you can come into this industry and you're funny and you're fat, that there's a role for you. And then he found out, like, then this kind of like cancel culture and woke movement came, and that role necessarily wasn't available anymore. And then also you couldn't really say what you wanted unless you had like a mask or a veil of being part of one of these very woke groups.
Yes. And
So,
he
like,
can say things like the FAGGOT, stuff like that, because he is gay. But if he weren't, he could never say that.
Yes. So, I mean, like, I don't know, because like I heard about the conspiracy many times before actually listening to him or his comedy or his podcasting. And so because of that, like I watched this guy, I'm like, this guy's not gay, dude.
I know. I watch him and it's hard for me to believe, but I don't care either way. So I just like, and
here's the thing. I don't care if he's gay.
Like, I know. No, if you listen to enough of his podcasts, he has enough stories about meeting guys, and he's talking to a guy right now. Apparently the guy he's talking to, he quit smoking for and stuff like that. So
yeah. I mean, he
makes enough references to it to where I think that he's legit, but trust me, I'm one of those guys that it's like, he doesn't seem, gay at all, but what am I to say,
Yeah. And like, I grew up like, right outside of San Francisco. I have plenty of gay friends that you wouldn't know they were gay until they told you, for sure. Like, I have a gay friend that came out like when we were 9, and he is exactly the same personality as Tim Dillon, but every now and then he fucks women.
Oh.
So it's just like, I don't, what are we doing here? Are we playing a game? Because it's smart if we are.
Well, I mean, I did have a buddy growing up that, his dad was married, obviously, to his mom, and would travel all the time to New York City on business trips. And turns out that he was
getting turned out.
A transvestite. No, yeah.
Like Woody Harrelson in Anger Management?
I haven't seen that, but maybe. You haven't seen
Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson?
Yes. Yeah. I've seen that movie.
Yeah, remember he gets
15
Woody
years
Harrelson.
ago, though.
They there's a scene where he takes Adam Sandler to pick up a prostitute, and it's Galaxia. It's fucking Woody Harrelson in a wig and a dress.
Yes, pretty much the same thing.
She's like, yeah.
I went on boat rides with this guy and everything. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like we went on paddle boats, regular boats. We did all kinds of. I slept over at his house. I mean,
okay.
So once he found out, not only that, but everybody found out once he literally left for good and went up to NYC to do that for good. Like he left his family to go do that for life.
Well, okay, so transvestite, that's cross-dressing. So was he doing drag? Was that what he okay, cool. That's cool. So is he doing like drag shows?
I have no idea, dude. I didn't look too deep into it because
okay.
I was also a kid. We were like 9. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been to one?
No. My wife has.
Would you go to one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
they're
one in
fun.
town. There's one in town here. I think there's two actually, but I can't remember the names of them. But my wife has gone and said that it's amazing. A couple guys from my work have gone, said it's hilarious.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one in the town next to ours as well. Like, and then you know what? I'll tell you what. Nobody fucking performs harder. You know what
Really?
I'm saying?
Yeah, I've
Yeah, in
heard
the
that.
same town, just down the street, we have this nice fucking theater where, like, like they do like the Nutcracker and all that bullshit, like all the fancy bougie bullshit plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's our little take on Broadway bullshit, and none of them ever act or perform as well as the drag queens just down the street at this shitty little bar that they perform at.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
really
dude,
putting all the heart out there.
they really do, man. They have fun time. That's cool, dude. The guy was his secret transvestite. That was a different time too.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Now,
that's what I'm saying. This was 20 years ago. So I mean, this was everybody found out, everybody was blown away, and then that guy got bullied, forever. So it was kind of a fucked up situation actually. But anyway,
yeah, that's unfortunate. Like
I
kind
think
of
he
like
had to
the
like
last.
move. He
It
had to
was
like
like the
move.
last era of that, huh?
Yeah,
Us.
like before it was like okay, yeah. After that, I think it was kind of
I,
like oh, that's normal.
I, yeah, I think like this was the last era because we're about the same age. Like we are the last era of people that were teasing each other for being gay.
Yeah, probably. It doesn't
You
happen
know,
anymore. Yeah.
and it wasn't even necessarily like it wasn't even like you're a dude that likes dudes. It was just like, stop crying, you're gay. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
a kid a kid falls down playing soccer and he trips and scrapes his knee and he's crying, so he's gay. Like it has nothing
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
with the
yeah.
sexual preference. Like
Yeah, yeah. Just
yeah, and there was much harsher words being thrown out and being polite by saying gay. Like
yeah, it was pretty empty handed when
yeah.
you throw it out there, to be honest. Um,
Well, when you're children too, kids don't count. Like this other day, bro, I was on delivery and there's these three little kids. It was like they were all Middle Eastern, and one of them was this little fat one, and he was clearly in charge. You know what I'm saying? He was the charismatic one.
oh yeah.
And I heard him say to one of the other ones, it was like bad boys. They couldn't have been older than 10 or 11. He was like, "You need to hush the fuck up, bro. What are you, a muzzy or a crusader?"
What the
And I was like,
hell?
"Whoa."
Oh,
The
dude, these
kid just
kids are
say
getting crafty.
muzzy?
Yeah,
It's
damn.
like this 10-year-old knows what a crusader is?
Jeez, dude. That's kind
Yeah.
of
So I mean,
scary.
kids just say wild shit, though, bro. You hear like, I was one of those kids.
They grow
Oh,
up
yeah.
fast nowadays with the internet.
Oh, dude. Like, I was one of those kids. Like, I grew up in a low income neighborhood. So there was a lot of fucking kids, just a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people and affordable housing, And,
Yeah.
so there was like 20 or 30 kids in my neighborhood growing up, and like I was younger by a long shot. So when I was 4, I met the neighborhood kids, like the main group that I stayed with forever, and the youngest guy was like 9.
Oh,
So I was swearing at a 9-year-old's level by kindergarten.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had older brothers, so it's kind of similar shit. You know what I mean? When you have older brothers that are
Yeah,
6, 7 years older than you, oh my god, the shit that you learn. You learn about sex when you're fucking 5 years old and shit. It's fucked
yeah.
up.
So I can remember definitely being like a kindergartner or a first grader, just saying the most horrible things to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Saying you're drawing swastikas on all your little tests and stuff like that. You don't fucking
Yeah.
know.
Like what the hell? Yeah, we used to do
Yeah.
that shit too. It's
I
so
was
fucked
clean.
up.
I was cleaning up at this preschool a couple of years ago doing some community service, and I remember it was a preschool, and all the kids were doing drawings, and I'm talking to the preschool teacher, and we're looking through these drawings, and then one comes out, and it's just like 10 little swastikas all drawn over the paper in
Jesus.
different shapes and sizes, and the teacher was like, "Well, that's disturbing."
Yeah, man.
Like,
Damn.
oh my god, dude, that's so
Starting them
funny.
early.
You don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
they don't know. They just
So your
like I think
show,
just some kids are little shitheads, and I was definitely one of them.
you said your show started as a radio show. What made you go that route, and what changed it over to a podcast? Obviously, I think that's probably the better forum, or the better platform to be doing. But what when it's a radio show, it's obviously, is it live, and is it once it's gone,
It was
or like once it's over, it's over.
It's over. It was horrible, dude. We had like one listener, and I'm pretty sure it was like the guy's dog. You know what I'm saying? We had a phone, and the phone didn't work. We had live musicians come on. That fucking didn't work. Like it was terrible, but it was okay. So the way it worked was, do you know who Charlemagne the God is and Andrew
Yeah,
Schultz? Okay,
yeah.
so their podcast, The Brilliant Idiots, was the first one I ever listened to,
Okay.
and immediately listened to every episode they had ever done. Just
When was
because like it
this?
was the first podcast, so you get hooked.
Yeah, when was this? 2015 or
Four and a
something?
half years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 2015, 2016. Before Rogan definitely hit 1,000 episodes, you know. So then there was just an episode where Charlemagne was ranting, and he was just like, if you want to be a news commentator, start broadcasting. If you want to be a comedian, get on stage. If you want to be a radio personality, start a podcast. And it just stuck. I was like, I do want to be a comedian. I do want to start a podcast. So let's just do it. So I asked Mike, who I barely knew. I was just like, hey man, like I kind of want to start a podcast. I had this idea of a pizza podcast where people would call in, and the podcast starts with somebody calling and asking where their pizza is, and then we start explaining where it went, and then we just trail off, and that becomes the show for an hour and a half.
Oh
So
wow.
it's almost like you're waiting for your pizza, and then you just get stuck on the phone with some dumb pothead for an hour and a half, and then at the end it'd be like, yeah, it's almost there, or something dumb, you know.
That's actually
uh
really funny. It's a good idea, especially for at the time, 4.5 years ago. Like that could still work now. You know what I mean?
yeah, I actually, as soon as Mike left, I had our original producer reached out to me the day the news came out and asked me to do that podcast with him. And I was like, damn, dude, dirty. Like, I'm not gonna, come on, man. You're not gonna wait a little bit? Like, let the wound
Damn.
heal. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, so then so I told Mike, and he was like, yeah, I have this buddy. This is the guy who we were in the shed with. So the guy's dad was like really big in news, like just news out here, not radio, but like Prawn 4 News. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, I don't know what he fucking did. Like he was just really big and high up in the news stations for
Yeah.
whatever he was doing. So when he died, he left with this guy with just tons and tons of equipment. We're talking about like, like $100,000 cameras and stuff like that. Like this guy was high up in the station, and to the point where the guy had his own radio tower that he had paid somebody else to put in their yard. So I think because the guy's dad was in the news, he had this kind of like strong connection, and he wanted it to be a radio show, even though we proposed it as a podcast and we didn't have any equipment yet. So we were just like, yeah, we'll do a radio show.
Whatever
And
you want. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, if you're willing to get us off the ground here, then we'll do what you say. So, which
Yeah.
was dumb. So yeah, we did about 30 episodes. It was called The Hangover Crew, and it was a radio show. We would play music. We would do segments. Like I said, we had musical guests, and it was kind of like Thickness and the Shine, just a little structured differently. And then one day we asked the guy, like, hey man, we want to turn this, like, we want this to be a podcast. So can we make a website and start putting them online? And then he got weird about that. So we are just like, Mike was just like, we could figure this out. So we left, and then a couple days later, ended up as Thickness and the Shine.
Wow. And who thought
Yeah,
of the name?
me. I wrote down 50 names on a notepad, and we went over all of them, and that was the one that stuck the best.
Okay.
It was that or Sancho and the Pig.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Sublime.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I knew the reference, but I don't listen to that much Sublime or anything. What about
Oh, me neither. But I
and
just remember the key songs.
so what got you into this is essentially listening to the Brilliant Idiots and just going from there, because it was similar for me. I just started listening to Joe Rogan, and then I started listening to King and the Sting, and I'm like, of course, which is every male's problems. He says, "Oh, I think I can do that." Which I heard actually. I don't listen to Tom Segura, but I listened to his episode on Joe Rogan. It was actually a very, very good point. Every man thinks he's good at fighting, fucking, and driving.
Yes.
And every single one of them, you don't find out until it's
It's
too
too
late or
late.
whatever, that that you're not.
Yeah.
So and there
Well,
you
you've got
go.
a kid and a NASCAR license.
Well, yeah, I guess so, but that still, I could be better.
You're killing it, dude. You're ahead of Tom Segura on that one. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
Rogan's the same kind of guy, where he's got like that magic about him. Where it's just like sometimes people will say things to you and it sticks. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like I used to, when this podcast started, I weighed about 400 pounds.
Really,
Yes, I
you look
was.
good now, buddy. But I didn't know. I couldn't remember because you were so far away on the other one.
Yeah.
But like even your Facebook and stuff, you need to update your stuff now because you're looking slim, baby.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, I lost about 150, and then
Wow.
I gained back another 25. I can't lie, but we're back on it again. You know, we out here. We were late because we were actually out for like a nice little 2 mile walk with the dog right before we got here.
I got you. Are
Uh,
you the keto kid now?
no, I can't do it, bro. I tried doing keto. I got a story about that.
Okay.
Holy shit. Okay, so Mike and I did a thing called thick tathlon because both of us were fat and then both of us lost weight. And so we were just like, let's help other fat people lose weight. And so we got a bunch of fat guys to send us selfies shirtless, which was terrible. Just getting DMs of dudes just giving me titty pictures all day. Uh,
Sounds
and
kind of nice.
yeah, and oh man, and we go into this, and like the idea was we were going to race each other to see who could lose the most weight, but not only lose the most weight, but it was going to be like weight loss, a BMI test, and then like a physical kind of competition.
Mm.
And then we were going to take the winner besides me and Mike was going to be able to join me and Mike for a Thickness in the Shine barbecue, like a special dinner.
Okay.
And then the loser between me and Mike had to shave down completely and wear a dress.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. But unfortunately, fucking shortly into the competition was right when COVID started. So everybody fucking lost. We didn't end up finishing it. We ended up just calling off because, you know, it was a bunch of fat dudes and nobody wanted to go to the gym because, well, the gym was gone. There was, you know, so nobody wanted to go run
Yeah,
at the
you
park
couldn't.
or something,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
running on concrete sometimes hurts too.
Yeah. No, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Um, but what was my point? What were we talking about? So we are talking about the thick tathlon. Oh, so keto. Yeah. So we talked about we were gonna do keto. Mike did keto when he lost weight. I lost weight by running and having a low calorie diet. But I was like, I'll do keto. I'll try it with you. And then we had another buddy who was also part of it that was trying it with us.
Okay.
And I started by doing a 72-hour fast. So I just didn't eat for the first 3 days.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
and I worked out. Like I went on a 10-mile walk on the third day. Like I felt great. It wasn't a problem. But then when I started eating keto, oh my God, dude, I was so bad at it. I didn't know how to measure my macros, nor did I know what macros were. Like the thought of getting that much fat was horrifying. So I was basically pouring olive oil on tuna fish and eating that with spinach and like feta cheese or something. Like it was the grossest shit in the world. And
Yeah.
then I started getting the keto flu. I was like holding on to shit and like almost passing out.
No,
And
fuck
then like
that.
I can't do it, bro. And then also if you keep that up, like with keto, this is the thing that I'll tell you about keto. If you're not good at keto, as in like you're not, you know, you don't really write out your menu as far as your food goes,
Yeah.
and you keep a close eye on your numbers, you could get tons of hemorrhoids and you're constantly dehydrated. Like there's a lot of issues that come with keto by doing it wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
I just gave up. I couldn't do it. I had to quit.
Yeah, if you're not a nutritional expert, then you can really fuck your shit up just by trying to do what you think is right. But if you're not doing
Yeah.
it correctly, it's a lot unhealthier of a diet than even your standard fast food diet because it's,
Yeah, exactly. It is one of those, just like it's one of those, it's like a miracle diet because if you can do it right, it works. You know, the shit was founded because of studies for children with epilepsy.
oh wow.
So the thought was, and it was a much more strict diet. It was like 5 grams of carbs, and then it had to be like 90% fat and like 10% protein or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So it was only fat. And it helped kids with severe epilepsy a lot to be on that diet strictly. So it could be this crazy gut biome healing fucking super diet that could make you lose a bunch of weight and turn you into a superhuman, or you could shit your fucking liver out and get hemorrhoids and get like fucking hypertension and all sorts of other issues along the way with it.
Which sounds nice too.
Yeah. So I just don't go to Taco Bell anymore. Like I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
keto, but
Taco Bell is so good though. God.
bro,
You know.
what's the fast food out? What's most popular where you are? Is it like Arby's?
No. Well, yeah, there's Arby's, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Chipotle's popular around here, Cadoba, Moe's. Um, Burger King, the
Okay,
main
because
ones. Zaxby's, we finally have Zaxby's and shit now.
I've never even heard of that, or like
We have
Cadova or anything. But
we have Hardee's. We don't have that Carl's Jr. shit.
oh, nice. We have the other one, the green burrito, the Spanish Carl's Jr.
Oh yeah, well that's weird.
Yeah. I was just wondering if there was like a theme, like out here, like the big thing is like In and Out. And then I've noticed in Colorado, they have like Arby's like we do Starbucks, dude. Like for your listeners, Google fucking Arby's and Colorado Springs, and there's like 15 in that town alone, dude. Like it's
Really?
crazy. Those motherfuckers love Arby's, pot and roast beef.
We have
I,
that with McDonald's, and we
you
have
guys,
that with probably like Taco Bell and Burger King and all the main ones, but never like we do have a lot of Arby's, but not that many.
what
And
about
as far as the burger chains, we have a lot of cookouts. We don't have that many In and Outs. We don't have that many Steak and Shake or what is the other one?
Shake Shack?
Yeah, we don't have that.
We don't have that shit either. What about
Um,
Sonic?
yeah, we got Sonic.
We don't have that shit either. I
What?
hate Sonic.
It sucks. Yeah, fuck
I
it.
fucking hate Sonic, dude. I feel like their buns come pre-staled.
Yeah,
Like
everything comes pre-microwaved there. That's all that
yeah.
there is.
I just like I've been to a Sonics in like Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, California, and I swear to God, it's like part of the training. It's if you open at Sonic, your job is to come in every day and open all the buns.
Yeah, literally.
Just open open all the bags, as many as you think we're going to use that day.
Clean the
Make sure,
microwave.
yeah, get the air in those. Make sure they start staling and crunch them up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
blow
like,
some air in them.
I want these to be croutons by the end of the night, and I
Yeah.
want you have to fucking roller skate up to people to have them complain about it, and then you just throw a pack of nerds in a slushy and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah. One of those fucking happy hour specials. What
That's just disgusting, dude. Like,
I know.
just let me like I'm gonna take a pack of nerds and some gobstoppers, and then I'm gonna give you like a Twizzler as a straw, and like
Yeah.
we're gonna give you like some gum that has insulin in it that you should chew when you're drinking this.
Yeah, they treat you like a child. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then they make their employees wear roller skates. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
dangerous too.
That's really dangerous, dude. I couldn't do that. I'm too fat.
When did Thomas come into the picture as far as that's your producer, I guess, so to speak? When did he start? Was he been there all along or?
No, so Thomas comes in around episode 80. I think around episode like 85 probably is right when he starts. So after we left the radio show, we joined a guy that I was working with that we both knew from high school. And we put it under his like, quote unquote record company. And I mean, it was cool. He was a good friend of ours, but like he would keep trying to be a third co-host. Like he would talk way too much, and we just didn't want that. Like he was cool and all, but it's just that's not what we wanted. So me and Mike decided to leave him, and we did I'd say about 60 episodes of My Room. And Thomas was he was my drum captain in marching band. I was his band manager when he was a drummer in this band called Safety Hazard for a little while. And then I did a musical with him. I had my first job with him. So he was just kind of listening to the show, just being a good friend, like he liked the show. He had a long drive for work, so he would keep up every week with it, and he would tell me, like little things about it. And then finally I was like, can we fucking record here with you, man? Like, this is what you do for a living. Like, you know how to do it all. Like, you want to help us out? And yeah, so then that started the Thomas and Josh era. Josh was this kid that we had like, he's kind of like Joe Rogan's young Jamie, He just kind of sat off and Googled things for us. And we had him for about, I'd say a good 50, 60 episodes as well, until eventually it was just kind of like, we didn't really like need him anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Sometimes
I didn't
they get tired of it too. It's like some of the
that, and I didn't want to do too much Google stuff because like we're an audio platform podcast. Because when we started podcasts, it was still mostly an audio thing.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let's keep it audio for the sake of the people who listen to audio, like I do. And so I just didn't like through when I listen to other podcasts like King of the Sting or This Past Weekend or that pedophiles podcast with the long hair that's also associated with all of them. They would watch these like YouTube videos and like it would like they'd spend all this time on something I can't see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I listen while I'm delivering pizza, so I'm an audio podcast enjoyer.
Yeah, it makes it
So
more
I
of a
would just,
show and not a podcast.
yeah, exactly. So like I kind of didn't want us crutching off of YouTube and shit and talking about a bunch of stuff that the listeners can't hear because we weren't putting out a video version, so there
Yeah.
was no point. Like everybody was lost on it.
Yeah, and so you're trying to essentially stay the most true you can to the original podcasting platform. Are you still in that route? Or are you considering making a video platform
We'll switch to
nowadays?
video. We're
You
gonna
will?
switch to video. Yeah, the camera that I'm using right now is just a cheap Logitech webcam. We're gonna get a
Mhm.
nicer camera and do it right. We're on our way. It's necessary. You might as well be on everything.
You're going to do YouTube and everything?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I have the idea either I'll throw the whole episode on YouTube, or I'll just do clips from the show,
Hmm.
and the YouTube could just be a clip show because I think when it comes to YouTube, it's just more reasonable to ask people for 5 minutes over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
if they really want that full hour and a half, we're on every platform. They'll go for it.
Yeah.
And then we have our skits on YouTube as well, which is cool. We've only done two, but we're writing a bunch right now. COVID, of course, made that a pain in the dick because it's hard to get actors here when we're in California. Actors are very COVID, aware.
Yes, that demographic.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you got the COVID, right? Are we talking about that? Is that a
I've
thing?
got the COVID right
Do I
now.
need to hit the space
Quarantine.
button?
Hit it, baby. Hit it. Yeah, I've got the COVID right now. I'm quarantined in my garage studio. And it sucks, man. It doesn't actually suck. It lasted like I had the chills for about 36 hours, and that was about it. The allergies here are crushed right now in Virginia. So my allergies and stuff like that are really bad.
Hmm.
But as far as COVID, I was like tired maybe for a couple of days, but I stay up late anyway. I'm generically tired, but I'm not quarantined at home to really know. I'm at work. And I just got to keep on going. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I'm tired this morning, but it's really just because I'm home and I can lay on the couch for, a half hour or so. And I'm like, man, I don't
Do you
really think that was ever like a actual side effect, but who knows?
do you think you know who was the person who gave it to you?
Maybe I don't know necessarily the person, but roughly I know which. I know when I came in contact with somebody, I didn't get the message until they didn't message me until a couple days later, and then I didn't even get the message until a day or two after that. So I never felt any side effects or anything like that. I just went to go get tested because I had a Wednesday night show with my brother, and then I had a Friday night show with a different guest, and all mine are in person, breathing on each other's faces,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
I was going to get the COVID test just so I could literally have a negative result or like a negative, test result so that I could prove that I was clear. And it came back positive. So I was like, oh
And you
shit.
fucking weren't.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh
How
fuck.
much of an asshole did that feel? Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh,
You're an
okay.
asshole. I'm gonna prove it to you. I don't have COVID. You fucking scared
Yeah.
little bitch.
Then
And
I
then you
was.
fucking damn it, I have COVID.
So
I'm sorry. I
yeah, obviously
apologize for
those
what I
ones,
said about
yeah, those ones got canceled, and now I've got to quarantine. My family, because they were exposed to me, has to quarantine for
that. Oh
14
yeah.
days, whatever. So we're just living it out, man. And like I said, I'm quarantined out here in my shed or studio, garage, shed, whatever you want to call it. But
Are you only in the shed? Are you sleeping in the shed?
oh, dude, I'm sleeping on the roof. It feels good out.
I'm not gonna lie, that does sound kind of dope. I would be here for it.
Dude,
Are you actually?
if that
Are you,
cicada comes back in here, I'm gonna sleep on my back porch because we were talking about it before we went live. The cicada, I don't even know how you say it, but there's a lot of them. I also live right next to Pocahontas State Park, the biggest park in Virginia, the biggest
that's
state park in
dope.
Virginia.
I'm gonna look up.
Um,
I've never heard of a fucking cicada before.
oh, dude,
Does it start with a C? Oh yeah, it does. All right, let's see what this fucking thing looks like.
they're huge. They're about
Oh,
5 inches.
what
This
are
one
these fucking
was.
things? Locusts? I'm pretty sure these came out of a
Yeah, pretty
Bible
much the same
study.
thing. Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing. They're loud, loud bugs.
Oh,
Anyway,
dude, fuck all that. Yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and also too, what is your? We were talking about, you wanted to get in. You're staying true to the podcast form, but now you're obviously incorporating video because it's kind of, not necessarily, but it's becoming the new norm.
There's no
Um,
point in like leaving out an entire platform's worth of people on the show, you know?
yeah. And what is
And
your comedy dreams? You've talked about you're still young, you're not even 30 years old.
yeah,
You have plenty of time, and you've already been doing this a long time as far as podcasting, which helps a lot in my opinion, as far as, which I wouldn't know any better. But as far as like mic time and stuff like that, when you do eventually become, you wanted to do some stand up, but coronavirus ended that as well.
yeah, of course.
Do you plan on getting back into that? And like I said,
100%.
I just asked you 9 questions and expected you to answer them all. Sorry, but what's your comedy dreams? And obviously, do you still plan on getting back up on stage at some point?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't get obviously not a lot of stage time. When I used to work at a hookah bar when I was younger, and we would do open mic nights, and I was always hosting all of those.
Mm,
So a lot of my experience came from like hosting open mic nights, and then yeah, through the podcast, doing it for so long, I've kind of come to know who I am quite a bit, and I've grown. I was 25 when I started, or 24 or whatever, and now I'm about to be 28. So like, I know that's not crazy old, because to anybody successful in comedy that you know is like 40 almost, at least, or
yeah,
minimum.
no, yeah, you got
Yeah,
plenty of time, and
it's
I
a
think
long
that
road.
I didn't know that you used to host the open mics. That's actually, I think that's plenty of experience in and of itself, just because of um the being up on stage and having to just not fill time, but not trip over your words and so, stuff like that. It's a lot easier when we're sitting here pre-recorded podcast. It's still not even easy for a lot of people, especially when I do my podcast live. A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
They get really nervous before it goes
Oh
live, I
man, and like,
notice.
and new podcasters, man, like I've had people reach out and they're like, "Oh man, we want to be on your show. We want to be part of it." And then you look and they've been like 20 or 30 episodes. It's just like, you are still so fucking awkward at this. Like, you trust me, you don't want to be on my show.
Yeah,
Like, cuz it's like it may seem cool. It's like, yeah, these guys have done this for years. Like, this is like a platform to stand on, but if you don't know what you're doing, if you're still awkward in this, like, it's fucking a nightmare. Like,
yeah,
it's I I'm kind of glad we lost a lot of our episodes, because I would go back and I'd listen to the first 60 to, I mean, I didn't get comfortable until episode 60 is what I always say.
yeah.
But I'd listen to those first 60 and people liked them, but I cringed. I always did.
Me too. I'm doing the
And
same thing. You know what I mean? I've had
yeah,
guests on recently where um I've had like a returning guest after a year. So I'll go back and like I recently had on the guy that first came on my podcast. So it was like
yeah.
episode 3 or 4. So
Oh
before he
shit.
came on, I tried to listen to that episode. I tried to listen to it to figure out, like, I didn't want to double ask questions and shit like that. But I literally couldn't get through fucking 5, 6 minutes of it. It was just so, oh my God, so bad. But yeah,
Oh man,
so
you have people not only like content bad, but then their audio quality is really bad, and like
mhm.
they're struggling and they're fumbling, and it's fucking 30 minutes and they didn't even make it through that. And it's like, hey man, I get it. Just keep going.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
as far as,
Y'all
yeah,
are
you know,
so
you just gotta keep
smooth.
going. Like,
Yeah, y'all are so smooth.
don't,
You and Mike were so smooth. You're gonna continue to be smooth, but you can't be having on some guy that's had like 9 episodes. You know what I mean?
yeah, just, and I don't think for that guy it does him any good to come
Yeah,
on either. I think he just needs to keep talking into dead air for a little while and figure out who he is. So, and as far as your question is like, like what my dream is in comedy, um, I didn't really start realizing that in the last few years. So when we were like kids, like little, my dad really liked George Carlin. So I would watch all the George Carlin specials. I would watch the Lewis Black specials, the Eddie Murphy specials, the Blue Collar Guys. I could still quote all of Larry, Ron, Bill, and Jeff's jokes from probably every Blue Collar special.
wow.
Uh, yeah, and I always thought that those guys were like the fucking coolest people ever, man. They get to talk shit and hang out with their buddies for a living and like forever. But I also thought that that was just an unobtainable thing that you have to be just way too lucky to get, and that it wasn't for me. And then I just one day I was just like, fuck it, like, let's at least try. Like I said earlier, I'd rather die of failure than somebody who didn't try. And I think the dream would be more. I don't want to be like the next Carlin because I don't think that that's very realistic. Like I don't think I'm going to be like Kevin Hart
Yeah.
or Joe Rogan, or I don't know that I'm going to be like a theater comic one day. It would be really cool, but the dream would to be just to make it, to survive. If I can buy a house when I'm 40, have a kid maybe, and just wake up every day and do what I want to do, work for myself, then I know that I'll work every day until I die happily.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no,
Yeah.
that's
So
respectable. And you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to be Joe Rogan. You don't have to be, Bill Burr. You don't have to be somebody selling out arenas. You can even be just a local stand up that's a successful, you have your spots, especially where you live in California. But even if you have a couple
yeah,
clubs where you have your solid spot that you open for these, different people that are coming in town every week, you can make a living
yeah,
enough to, afford to live. And that's what you would do happily. And, that would
yeah,
be, your, level of, or that would be at least your first level of success.
yeah. Like I think like if I was to like pin a comedian or two and say like that's the career I would want, I would say Burt Kreischer or Big J Okerson. If I can achieve either of those, where like you may not be like a household name, but you can also like travel the world and make people laugh, and all the other comics know who you are and they like you and they want to laugh with you and stuff like that.
Big
Like
J
I'd be like,
Okerson.
I'd love to be famous. You know who Big J Okerson is? He's one of the Legion of Skanks. He's a phenomenal storyteller and crowd work stand up.
Yeah, I
Very
know
offensive
Legion of
as well.
Skanks. I know Legion of Skanks the name, but I've never listened, or maybe I'm sure I've heard clips or something, but I'm not experienced with it.
It's an incredibly offensive podcast. But see, yeah, exactly. Like Big J, like, to his fans and to other comedians, they all know and love him, but he's not like some crazy big name and not some kind of goal that I think would be unachievable for me. And I'm definitely not saying I'm as funny as Big J Okerson. Definitely not. But maybe one day, and I'd love to be, and like I'm a storyteller just like he is. I'm good at talking shit to people just like he is. And yeah, dude, that would just be so fucking awesome. Just to do it, just to make enough, maybe be able to write my own movie one day, direct it. That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Did
Yeah.
you when I had the Scott Wharton stand up guy that was on Kill Tony, did you listen to that episode? And do you want to do a hot take of some of jokes, some of the jokes you've been working on? Do you want to try them out here?
I didn't listen to the episode, no, unfortunately.
Well, when he
Uh
was on here, I pretty much was like, a lot of people say to comedians, so I'm not going to do it to you unless you want me to. Oh, you're a
okay.
comedian, tell me a joke. So I was like, I'm not going to do that to you, but I'm going to tell you some jokes and see what you think. I was pretty much just like working on jokes live on air with him, and he,
That's smart, dude. I like that.
and it was silly, but it was still kind of fun. I don't know, but so I didn't know if you had any that you've been working on, or just had some that that are polished that you just wanted to throw out there. It's also weird to say I'm about to tell a joke and then tell a joke. Obviously that's not a good premise or a good setup for it, but I think it's still kind of just a dumb segment that's kind of fun.
I am looking through my notes here and it all just looks like dumb fucking gibberish to me. I'm not gonna lie. It's so funny. I don't know if like when you write a joke, do you write something down? Like I've got the word edging here on just a note that just says edging. I've got a note here that just says I'm not good at parties. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah, no, mine are a little bit longer because I've had that problem. So I use the InkPad app in my phone for show notes and for little stuff like that. But yeah, like I like all mine are pretty longly written out.
yeah, I think
Just because I have
I th-
that issue, because I like, whether I'll be 6 beers deep and I'll just write something down, I'll never remember it.
yeah.
I've had that problem so many times, and I'm like, when I'm thinking about it, it doesn't have to be sentences, but I just have to write it out at least like 4 or 5 bulletins in a row.
Mm-hmm. I'm just more of like I tell stories. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah. No,
saying?
mine are a
Yeah,
lot
like
of mine are a lot of that too, but still, like, I won't remember certain parts of the story if I don't include it in my note.
I did. I went on a different podcast not too long ago, and the guy was doing like a rip off of Jeff Foxworthy's "You Might Be a Redneck,"
Uh huh.
but he titled it "You Might Be a Fat Fuck."
Okay.
So then I wrote a couple for him that I did on their podcast. I could tell you those ones.
Okay, fair enough.
Uh,
Mine is like mine short ones would be like because I did this years ago. Like I drank so much one night I paid my mortgage twice in one night.
nice.
So like and that's not even the joke. It's just like that's how the note is written to where at least I know that I remember that happening. I didn't like present it as a joke just now, but that way I at least kind of know I don't know what I kind of mean. It can be give me enough to remember back then. But tell me about you might be a fat fuck.
All right. So if a soft curb could be the reason you never walk again, you might be a fat fuck.
That's pretty good.
If you've ever described ordering out as through a drive-through as blacking out, then you might be a fat fuck.
Okay.
Uh, if every time you go to sleep you are rolling the dice on your own mortality, you might be a fat fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I got those ones.
I like it. And
Yeah.
which podcast is that? Do we want to give a shout out?
Yeah, we can give him a shout out. It's called the Redneck Review.
One of them are a large man.
Yeah, definitely. He's not as fat as he fucking claims to be. I might be doing a podcast with him.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna call it the City Bumpkins podcast
Okay.
because he's from the fucking heart of Kansas and I'm from the big city.
California, right?
Yeah. So it's just like we're very different. But yeah, dude, like okay, let me read you a joke because I haven't done, there hasn't been stand up in over a year, so I haven't really been writing any. But let me read you what I got in my notepad and let's see how dumb this comes out. All right.
Shoot.
I saw a goth trick the other day at Walgreens.
Uh-oh.
I don't even have a joke for that. Honestly, I'm just still thinking about it. Full goth, no emo or punk, fucking white faced, fuck society, stabby goth chick. Remember when you were in elementary school and they had us make the leprechaun tracks with the little box and string like you're an inbred possum hunter? That's how I felt when I saw this lady. By the way, this wasn't a teenage girl. This was a fucking woman. Even all the makeup couldn't mask the stress this poor soul had in her eyes. And then it's over. I didn't have anything written after that.
You're good.
So,
what did you say about the leprechaun print and the what? I missed that part. I didn't miss it, but I don't know if I did that as a kid.
You guys didn't do that? You guys,
what is it?
St. Patty's Day, you didn't make fucking leprechaun traps in elementary school?
It traps?
Yeah, you would take like a box and like a stick and a string, and then you would put some.
I'm not trying to mess up your joke. I just didn't know. No. We never did that. I didn't go to a private school or anything.
I didn't go to private school either, dude. Our fucking family was poor. We went to public school.
We do like possum traps and stuff, but not like no, not really. But no. We never did the. Yeah, I fucked it up. Sorry. But no. That part threw me off because I got to thinking like, damn, a St. Patrick's Day trap. Like, what could that be?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So if I don't know, I think you need to ask around to see how many people. Because if you were to take that, on the road and come to Richmond or something like that, and if we never did that, people would be like, wait, what the fuck?
You know Not only that, but they would wonder why halfway through it I just stopped talking. Like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even write a story around I just said that I introduced the fact that there was a goth chick. I didn't really even go anywhere with the story. There was no punchline at the end. That was literally like an introduction.
Yeah. I guess that's true. But still.
Like this one's scattered as fuck. I think dudes lie about how much they jerk off. Let me rephrase that. I hope dudes lie about how much they jerk off.
I think that's good. It's a pretty good one, especially because when you hear about the numbers about like sponsorship on like Pornhub and stuff like that, it's horrifying. You're like, oh my god, like that's how much time is being spent on these platforms. You know what I mean? Like that's like they say it's like literally a 33% of the internet or something is spent on pornographic websites.
I think they said it's 33% of all internet traffic at one time is pornographic websites.
Yeah, all times, pretty much.
At all times, at least 30% of what's going on is porn.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy too because I don't know about you. I watch porn for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, not long for me. I mean, it's not like 33% of my day.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if you really think about it, that's a lot of fucking jerking off, dude.
That is a lot.
How long do girls watch? How long do girls watch porn?
Oh, That's a good question. I think longer. I'm sure. I'm sure it would
Yeah.
take longer.
Here's one I write. I'm happy when I see pedophiles and white peoples with dreads die. That's just
Oh,
something I wrote in my notes.
yeah. Well, white people with dreads are weird, and they could be considered pedophiles automatically.
Yeah. Oh, this
Um.
one's dark. Here you go, buddy. So I found out I was part Native American, and you know what that means. Somebody got raped.
Oh shit.
You like to think it was all Pocahontas, but you know it wasn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. That one is pretty dark, especially because I don't know. It is weird too because like, what is the oldest building you've ever been in California? Do you know?
Fuck. I know that there's a house I deliver pizzas to that's like over 100 years old, but probably something in San Francisco, I'd imagine.
Yeah, just because like
Yeah.
like there's houses here and stuff that are from like literally 15 minutes away from my house. There's like a house that's from like 1790, like crazy old shit, like old
Fuck, dude.
farmhouses.
Really?
Yeah, and the front of the house is technically the back of the house because the driveway came way after. Normally, you would arrive to the house by boat, so the front of the house faces the water.
Mm-hmm.
When you drive up, you technically drive up to the back of the house, but you knock on the back door thinking it's the front door, and she starts referencing it as the back door, and you're really confused. And then, once she tells you, if she ever does, that technically the front of the house faces the water because you used to arrive by boat.
Yeah.
Um, that's how the front of the house uh, got established anyway. Because it looks exactly the same. There's doors on the front and the back, so it's like when you drive up on a house and you park in the front of it, and you
Yeah.
knock on that door, you're like, this is the front of the fucking house,
I
not for
went
her.
to there's like a historic town called Columbia, like 100 miles from where I live that I used to go to when I was a kid. And that's all like 1800s gold miner kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about when people started getting out here though. So we don't really have anything from like before that really. But
Yeah, I
I mean,
know.
I've been in like a church from the 1800s and that was fucking like wild looking.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary, honestly. Like more than because it's supposed to be a wholesome place because it was like a classroom,
Mm-hmm.
like it kind of looked like just a kindergarten, one single kindergarten class that was in the shape of a church. Like is the chairs were little, you know what I'm saying? And like there was like a dunce cap in the corner and like it was just fucking creepy. There was a crow's nest.
Do you
Like it
believe in ghosts?
no. I
Yeah,
mean,
me neither.
I like I don't
I,
know what happens when we die, but I don't know necessarily that like about ghosts in general.
Yeah, me neither. I can still appreciate something that's creepy when even though I don't believe in ghosts and horror movies make me laugh, but like when I'm like at work walking through an empty church, it's dark and all I've got is like a headlamp, you know what I mean? Or just a flashlight and it's literally I'm by myself in this big empty church that's from like God only knows how old. There's definitely a creepy element to it.
Yeah,
Regardless
but
that I can't get over. And I'm not necessarily creeped out, but I literally, as soon as I'm walking through there with a flashlight, I don't necessarily get creeped out, but I automatically think somebody that would be creeped out by stuff like this would be creeped the fuck out.
oh, especially if you like wholeheartedly believe in ghosts and spirits and stuff. Like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I've okay. So when I turned 18, I went with a buddy and just like did ghost hunting shit.
Yeah.
So we have like an abandoned cemetery, not too far from our house because there was this town called Nortonville, and in the 1800s it burnt down. So now there's just a cemetery from the 1800s up there, and that's the only thing left of Nortonville. So
Shit.
there's like a thing where there's like this chick that was a midwife died and then they buried her, but they only buried her like 2 or 3 feet, like a bunch of assholes. So and it was on top of a hill. The cemetery is on top of a fucking really big hill and it's up in the hill. So it's kind of a bitch to get to. It's a hike. So because it's on top of the hill and they didn't bury her very far, she kept getting unearthed when they would have these big
Damn.
rains. So they had
She would
to
erode out of there.
yeah, so they had to rebury her like 3 or 4 times. So like there was like the legacy of her being like the white witch, but then every fucking town has a white witch. We had like Gravity Hill, which was like apparently like a bus full of kids exploded on it. And like there was like a slaughterhouse that was apparently ran by the Klan. Turns out to just be white guys at a slaughterhouse.
Damn.
Devil's Gate to an abandoned insane asylum, an abandoned glass factory. Like we went to all these crazy places, dude. And like I could say like I don't believe in ghosts, but I would be freaked out. But I always attributed that fear to like I was more afraid that there was another fucking person there
A
than
homeless
I was.
person or something. Yeah.
Yeah, like some fucking crazy motherfucker that doesn't give a shit, that's scared
And
or violent.
were y'all making content or just doing this for fun or?
No, this was for fun. I just, my buddy had a piece of shit PT Cruiser, and he didn't like driving it, so I would always drive it, and he would just be like, "Hey, man, I heard of this abandoned glass factory in San Francisco," and so I'd be like, "Let's go to this abandoned glass factory, I guess, at like 2 a.m. Like, let's see what happens."
Dude, you could have made so much money making content off all that.
Oh, dude,
Um,
if I wish I would have figured all that shit out way younger.
there's
I mean, I
a
know I'm
race
still
car
young, but
driver. Yeah, there's a race car driver near me. I feel really bad actually, because he was a race car driver that started making ghost, like kind of the same thing you're talking about, like ghost YouTube videos. He's got like over 500,000 subscribers now and stuff like that.
yeah, he's
But
doing
he
like
also,
Mario Kart Ghost with the time trial races.
no, I don't think that he was doing like I don't even know where he's going. He's up from Delaware or something like that. But he did also like a COVID scam. You know how like a lot of YouTubers be like, I'm getting tested for COVID, going live in an hour. So anyways, so he
What?
did all like he literally did like I'm going to get tested for COVID, going live on YouTube in an hour. This is back when all of it first started, to where like people thought if you got COVID, you died right away.
Oh, okay.
So he ends up getting tested and comes back negative. Turns out the whole time the only reason he was getting tested is because his mom and his aunt have it. So he pretty much went live on YouTube to pretty much say that his mom and his aunt have it. The donations are open, blah 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 blah, and just pretty much took everybody's money.
What piece of shit?
Well, yeah, I know. And then I said that on my most recent episode, or on a 5 minute episode recently, when I just pretty much came out and said that I had COVID and it wasn't a scam, that I actually had COVID and don't donate any money, blah blah blah. And
Well, how much
then
does a fucking test cost?
I don't know, but it was still just a weird thing. But either way, then I found out that his father passed away like that same day. So I was like, oh my god, I'm a dick. But doesn't really matter. I don't think he ever got it. But so yeah, the ghost videos, like I said, I don't know if he had his YouTube channel as a race car driver. I think he did, and then he switched over to doing the ghost videos, and his stuff ramped off, dude. You could have, like I said, you
People
could
love
have
that shit, dude.
you could have made a killing making those videos back in the day.
Oh yeah, we definitely went plenty of places that we could have. But at the
Um,
same time, like I was definitely always afraid we were gonna like run into like a tweaker or something. And
yeah.
there was definitely times when we did have to like deal with people, but
Mm,
luckily it was nothing ever that crazy.
that's
Plus, I
good.
think I was a real big boy, so most people they would see me and they'd be like, "All right, let's hear what they have to say at least."
Yeah.
You know,
And as a rocket fire round, what are your favorite top 5 podcasts? Top 10?
Legion of Skanks, Real Ass Podcast, Matt and Shane Secret Podcast, Turn Left Podcast, and fucking Believe You Me
Really?
with
Okay,
Michael
so you're a big
Bisping.
Michael Bisping. Are you a big UFC fan?
Uh, I'm not a huge UFC. I do like the UFC, man. I do like the UFC. But I just really like Michael Bisping for sure,
Yeah.
and Louis J Gomez.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Lewis's attention. I'm gonna try to get fucking on Real Ass Podcast.
Is that his podcast, the Real Ass Podcast?
Yeah. I listen 3 times a week.
And so I guess you're not a Brendan Schaub fan. I think they have some type of beef or something.
No, I have my own personal beef with Brendan Schaub, dude. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. If I ever meet Brendan Schaub, I'm gonna be so goddamn nice to him. But fuck Brendan Schaub, like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, dude. Okay, all right. Let me tell you about my beef. All right. So Brendan Schaub, I hope one day you hear this. You tall fuck. No. So he started King of the Sting, right, with Theo, and I was a huge Brendan fan. I was listening to Fighter and the Kid. I was drinking Big Brown coffee. Uh, I made like a meme with a quote of his on his picture, and he like liked it and shared it. And I was like,
Dope.
okay, yeah, Brendan's cool. His brother was following me at one point, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And him and Theo were starting to see all my social media stuff. And then they started doing the roast me on Instagram shit, where they said roast Brandon and Theo in the comments, and then they'll start picking them out and saying them on the show.
Yeah.
So Brendan made some post about like an action figure from Stranger Things that looked like him, and I posted on his Instagram. I said, "You look like a Puerto Rican stepdad," and then he blocked me.
What?
Yes, Like I don't get it, man. Like I was such a big fan. Like I said, I was drinking Big Brown coffee. I sent him a picture of it. You know, he double tapped the like on the picture,
This was
and
an
then all of a sudden,
IG.
like
This
I
was on
do what
IG.
he, yeah, yeah. And this was after they said on the fucking show, roast
Roast
me,
us. Yeah.
and like I, yeah, and I fucking and like it's just so silly. Like, why did I get blocked, man? I was such a huge fan. So now, personally, like, I'm just gonna have my own long-standing beef with Brendan Schaub,
Do you
and
still
then
listen to
hopefully one
Fighter
day
and the
I'll meet
Kid?
him and I'll just tell him.
You still listen to
No,
Fighter and the Kid?
no, no. Once Brian left, I didn't like it. I didn't want to. Actually, honestly, once I got blocked, I went full fuck Brendan Schaub, and then Mike's so funny. So we had sent them in an episode of our show to try to get their attention, and we were talking about lot lizards on the episode.
Yes.
Next episode of Fire and the Kid, Brendan's talking about lot lizards. He's saying lot lizards. He goes on 3 or 4 podcasts. He's saying the word lot lizards. Now,
Damn it.
me, I'm a normal person. So I don't think he heard the episode and heard us say lot lizards and then just started saying lot lizards and then never gave us any attention. I think it just kind of happened to be a coincidence. But because he blocked me, Mike was like, yeah, fuck him. He's stealing our content too. Like
Yeah.
he's ignoring us but using our jokes. Like, fuck him, dude. Like he's lucky he's the scariest person to make jokes.
Yeah, yeah. He's the
Yeah.
scariest comedian of all time.
Oh man, I'm such
Oh,
a big fan too. Like it's a real bummer because I was
yeah,
a
that's
real
annoying.
genuine, and I feel like he can make it up to me. I feel like one day I could talk to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure
like,
he didn't mean. I don't know what does he even run. I know he runs his own thing, but I'm sure he has another manager or something
oh
like that
well,
else doing it too.
oh now he's got the Thick Boys fucking bike club.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Mister. I don't know thickness and the shine exists. Block thickness and then start something called thickness. You fuck. Stop
That's
playing with
true,
me, Brendan
man.
Schaub.
That's true,
Stop playing
man.
with my heart.
He's fucking
Maybe, maybe he is fucking listening, dude.
he's Carlos Mencia in your ass, dude.
Yeah, yeah. God damn it.
This is fucked up.
That's so funny, dude. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying fuck Brendan Schaub on the podcast, and then one day it's gonna get clipped, and he's gonna finally confront me and hopefully not
Yeah,
punch me in the
dude.
face.
You need to start saying Brennan Schaub, the joke stealer. That's what you need to start
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
framing it
stealing.
as.
Yeah, he's
All right.
stealing my jokes that I clearly don't have written.
All right. Well, I do appreciate you throwing Turn Left podcast into your top 5 favorites.
What
Of
are
your
your top
favorite.
5 right now? Joe Rogan, Fighter and the
Um,
Kid, Tim Dillon, King of the Sting. This past weekend.
I don't listen to Fighter and the Kid anymore.
Okay.
I never really did actually. I never was a Fighter and the Kid fan per se. I
Okay.
would listen to it, and I did start to frequently I did start to pick up. I was becoming an avid listener, and then everything happened, and it was like, well, nothing wrong with Chappelle Lacey. I love Chappelle Lacey and Malik and all that, but
I liked the chemistry those two had, and I just I felt
yeah, and Brian
uh,
Cowan's new shit is dog shit, you know.
and yeah, and I understand that for the sake of Brendan's career that they had to go. And I also understand that I think if Brendan had to start his own podcast after Brian left, that I don't think they would have kept anywhere near the platform.
Exactly.
So I felt bad for Brian enough. I was just like, I'm not listening to this shit anymore. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not even like I was there for just Brian because Brendan's funny. Like his stand up was, it's not great, but he's not a
Yeah.
veteran comedian.
Yeah. I don't
I
have
watched
any
his
bad blood against Brendan. I think how many people hate on him is funny, but like
well, I
I
get
don't
it.
think that he's like the best. Trust me, I don't listen to the King and the Sting for Brendan, but I still don't think he deserves quite the negative shit that he gets.
I think I understand why he gets the negative shit, and that's just egos. It's a lot of hurt egos because most comedians they spend 10 or 15 years eating dog shit until they start to like get to the level that Brendan was at when he was doing open mics.
Yeah.
So I could see how if you were like 7 years in or 8 years in and like it's still not really popping off for you and like you're making money, like you're surviving, like people respect you. But then this fucking asshole comes in and like his first day he's in an arena trying shit out as the opener. And it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I could see why your ego's hurt. I could see why you would hate this guy for having what you want.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? And
I mean,
I don't really hate him. I am salty about him blocking me over that though.
yeah, I don't. I know. I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you
Yeah,
at all for that.
it's unheard of.
All right, and another rocket question: what's your favorite race car driver?
I had a Dale Earnhardt Jr. light switch cover from when I was like 3 years old in my childhood bedroom. So Earnhardt Jr.
By the way, this is yours. Send me your address when we get done. I'll send you a Twin Life podcast sticker.
Oh hell yeah, right on!
Eh,
I got 100 stickers with somebody's faces that ain't fucking on it anymore, so I
oh
gotta
yeah,
I gotta get new stickers.
send them my way, dude. I'll put
Oh
some
yeah,
on something.
yeah, right on.
And who you said you're not a huge UFC fan, but who's your favorite UFC fighter, or throughout time, who has been your favorite UFC fighter?
I mean, John Jones and Conor McGregor will always get me to watch the fight. That's for sure. Anderson Silva was really entertaining. Ryan Bader, I watched him since he started,
Yeah.
so I really liked him in particular for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then today's fighters, Colby Covington is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Kamar Usman's really cool.
Did you
Shit.
see the other night's fights?
Yes, when Kamar Usman knocked down Masvidal and
And Rose nominated.
yeah, and Weidman broke his leg after fucking. And you know what's funny is Weidman was the one that Silva broke his leg on.
I know, originally.
Yeah. But he's already walking. You know, Weidman's already walking a day later.
What?
A
I didn't
day
know that.
later. Yeah, like he's not like walking, but like they had him the next day. They had him like he was standing on crutches and he was walking shittily.
Shit.
But isn't that crazy that we're at that level of like science?
Yeah, stem cells hopefully soon and stuff like that.
Yeah, stem cells are dope. I watched those Rogan episodes.
Yeah, I want to get some in my whole body.
Yeah, right. Everywhere.
All right, well, I think that's about all I got. Do you want to plug your show one more time? It's going to be Thickness and the Shine. It's going to be a little bit of you, a little bit of you and Thomas, a little bit of you can have some guests on. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. So the episodes are mostly me solo. There's gonna be a lot of guest episodes. I'm gonna do the solo ones that just kind of get sprinkled in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be. I have a lot of guests. We have some interesting returning old Thickness and the Shine guests coming up. My next episode I'm doing is with this swinger who goes to orgies and watches his wife get gang banged and stuff. Like he's fucking
Whoa.
awesome. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite people. So yeah, a lot of guests. There's episodes where it's just me, and then Thomas is there. Like like last episode, of course, as you could probably guess, we got into a long conversation about mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like fucking Thomas eventually had some opinions, and he jumped in and he talked to me for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So it was almost kind of like Tim Dillon's show in the sense that he's got his producer like sitting next to him,
Yeah.
who's not necessarily his co-host, but he'll chime in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, cool.
Yeah,
I
so
appreciate it. And
thicknessandtheshine.com.
yeah,
That's
thicknessandtheshine.com, Thickness and the Shine on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can find it. And go
yeah,
follow
if
on
you
Instagram too, right?
if you Google Thickness and the Shine, we're the entire first Google page.
Cool.
Yeah, we have everything on there. Will be Thickness and the Shine will be our podcast.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Episode 70 in the books. This will be uploaded sometime the next day or so. I will upload something and tag you soon.
Yeah, cool. Let me know, brother.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.